Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Right, a lot of you are probably thinking, Duck, what is this shit? Why are you in front of your cat? Where's your games? Where's your wall of games? Well, I'll tell you where the wall of games are. The wall of games is gone, except for Sega Saturn. I ran out of boxes, and yeah, those things are expensive. I don't quite want to move them just yet, but yeah, this is what happens when a mortgage advisor and a lawyer screw you over, and you're gonna be homeless in like 5 days, and you still don't have the keys to your new flat. Okay? Things start to happen in your mind, you start to realize things like, holy shit, I've not uploaded a YouTube video in 3 weeks. Yeah, I didn't plan on making another YouTube video until after I moved to my new flat, but I'm getting fucked left, right, and center with this shit. Seriously, don't ever take out a mortgage. It's atrocious. It is so fucking... It never works, okay? And oh god, this is... No. Okay, fine. I'll move you. This has been here ever since I moved in. Okay, so... What were we going to talk about? Well, I thought I'd make do on a promise I made not long ago and talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, I beat the game, what was it, like a couple of weeks ago, and you all know I heart Xenoblade Chronicles so much. Ken, it's like, and I want to make this clear as well, actually, right? I was with Xenoblade Chronicles literally from the very beginning. Okay, maybe not literally, but I was there since Operation Rainfall. Who remembers Operation Rainfall? That was such a... See, I did a lot of moaning on YouTube a good couple of years ago about Operation Rainfall, about game localization, and I really found out that's what I love doing. I love moaning about video games not getting localized, or video games not getting physical releases. Sega 3D Classics. And, region locking, these are the things I just love to moan about, and Xenoblade sort of, like, set me on that path, Look at me ear to ear at the aspect of moaning about localization, But, yeah, regardless, we're going to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X and my thoughts on it, because when this game got announced, I was like, okay, that's that, because I was so happy that Xenoblade, a game that Nintendo themselves doubted all the way, was suddenly like a hit, and they were like, okay, we gotta make a franchise out of this, we gotta milk this to fuck. Put Shulk in Smash Brothers, which I was a supporter of from the very beginning also, and yeah, Xenoblade is now a franchise. Monolith Soft is now an established big name Nintendo developer, just like Retro Studios, and yeah, we're probably gonna get another Xenoblade game in the future. Or at least the Xenoblade successor, which this game kind of is, it's actually kind of weird how they called it Xenoblade. It has absolutely nothing to do with the first game, and not just in sense of story, right? There's a lot of, like, how it's designed and stuff is very different. I mean, where to fucking begin? There's probably, like, right now, I'll tell you, right, this game is great, okay? I give it a recommendation fully. But the main thing to keep in mind is that almost every aspect of this game I could end the sentence with, but it's not as good as the first one. That's really is the case, and I don't want to like go through this review saying that, but for the most part, that is the case. The story. Okay, let's talk about that first then, okay? The story. There isn't one, okay? You are given a setting, but you're not necessarily given a story, It's like you have this planet that you have to explore. You go explore it. There's some baddies that get in your way from time to time. There really is no fucking story in this game. And I guess that was the point, because Monolith Soft themselves have said that, oh, would you like our next game to be more story-based, It's like they know, And yeah, you just compare it to the first game. A sort of like a linear storyline, but is very well put together and very engrossing, Whereas you've got this game where story takes a backseat to gameplay. And, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. You just need to, like, beware of that going in, because this is a much more gameplay-focused RPG, Also, a bit more Western or at least has quite a few Western aspects that you don't normally see in Japanese RPGs, like there's a lot more emphasis on customizing your character, rather than like building them up in a linear fashion, you've got like loads of different directions to go in, and this is reflective in the combat in the game, how you level your character up, and how you progress through the game as well, because the whole game is open to you right from the start, Ever since like A Link Between Worlds came out, that's become like this amazing selling point. It doesn't like grab me completely, because I'm okay with going for a game in a linear fashion, just like the first game, but whatever, I'll take it. I'll take it for sure. But yeah, almost every aspect of this game, story-wise, is pretty disappointing, right down to like, the characters, the villains, all that stuff, And there's bits in the game that like try to pretend that the story is something more, like, near the end of the game where the cutscenes start to pile on a bit thicker, it's just like, I would be engrossed in this if the story leading up to it was actually good, or I cared about the characters involved, I mean, to be fair, from a story standpoint, the only thing I really liked about this game were the characters Elma and Lynn, who are pretty much in your party the whole time, throughout the story at least, I like those two. I like those two a lot, especially Elma. It's like, I think later down the line, I'm gonna be behind Elma for her making an appearance in like a future Smash game. She's gonna be the new character that I follow, just like Shulk was for Smash Bros. 4. Would love them to expand on the Xenoblade franchise and Smash Bros. A bit more also. But yeah, I really liked Elma, and but all the other characters were so, either I can't even remember them, or they were just plain bad, like Tatsu the Nopon, okay? In the first Xenoblade, like, we're going back to the first one, we're going to be doing this a lot, strap yourselves in. In the first game, you had Ricky, who was wonderful. He was a wonderful character, He was charming, he was, like, funny, he actually helped you in battle, which Tatsu doesn't. And there's even a scene in the game where he made me tear up, right? There's a bit, I think I've talked about it before, a scene where he's round the campfire with Dunban. Anybody know what I'm talking about? I love this character, Ricky, he's wonderful. And Tatsu, he's just there to be like that sort of like, in most Japanese RPGs, they have like a little furry animal mascot thing, so that they can sell merchandise of them, later on. Every RPG has one. And that's what Tatsu is. He's useless. He's there to be the butt of a joke. One joke, right? Not jokes, plural. It's one joke, and that's the fact that he looks a bit like a turnip. That's literally, it's bad. It's so bad. It really is. But okay, that's enough about the story, right? The story ultimately doesn't matter, okay? It's more of a nuisance than it is like a necessity for you to enjoy this game, It's like something that you just have to put up with, really. But gameplay-wise, yeah, this game, hey guys, apologies for that. I don't know, my camera ran out of memory because it sucks, but yeah, okay, where were we? We were talking about the gameplay. Yeah, the gameplay is really good. It's kind of similar to the first one. A few little cool knickknacks here and there. Like soul voices where... Actually, that's really funny. I love that, actually. Okay, soul voices, they're things that you can set your characters... just things that they will say randomly in, like, a fight, And when they say one of them, if you use the right R at the right time, you'll get, like, a little statistic, a little bonus thing, And I love that because one of the things that we all sort of, like, loved about the first Xenoblade was that the characters would always say these things just out of context all the time, like, I'm really feeling it, stuff like that. You get that all the time. And essentially what this game has done is taken that and turned it into a full gameplay mechanic. And I think that's wonderful, I think that's absolutely wonderful. But yeah, like I said, it's a bit more Western. You'll be picking classes and building them up. I don't want to like... Okay, maybe it's not all the way Western, but it feels more Western to me anyway, that's for sure. But yeah, it's not all just about the combat, it's also all about the exploration, and yeah. The world is pretty fucking big, okay? It's definitely big. I kind of preferred the world in the first one. I guess it's because it felt a bit more diverse. But again, I've been going on about that non-stop anyway, so yeah. Naturally, it's very semi-MMO, you know? I imagine this is what Monster Hunter kind of plays like, you know? I haven't really played much Monster Hunter, so I can't really say that for certain, but this is what I think Monster Hunter plays like, you know? You're just cutting about, you've got a character, you focus on that character, and you just do, like, loads of missions, and this game also has, like, the sort of online features as well, but I honestly tried to ignore them because I like to just focus on single player. That's just, you know, how I play. So, yeah, you'll just be doing loads of missions, gathering money, installing probes, which are like these things that you put out throughout the world in order to, like, just to put your mark there to say that you've explored it. And yeah, it's like, time can go by so quickly in this game, it's insane, you know, you'll just be cutting about, I'll just get one more probe, or I'll just get to this one more level, you know, and yeah, you'll just be at it forever, and it's wonderful, it really is. Now, I guess, like, there are definitely a few things, like, other than the story, okay? There are definitely some things that I do want to rant about, and this didn't really happen until I was, like, 45 hours into the game. I put about 70 hours in total, you know? But one of the, like, selling points of this game is the scales, which are the mechs, you know? And the mechs are a really nice, like, a throwback to the past games in, like, the sort of Xeno series, you know? Like, it's made up of multiple series, it's really confusing, but basically you had Xenogears on the PS1, which had mechs, and you had the Xenosaga trilogy, of which I've only played the first one, which also had mechs, but then you had Xenoblade Chronicles, which had no mechs, so it's cool. I imagine long-time fans of the series are glad to see the mechs come back. The mechs kind of ruined the game for me. That sounds harsh, but genuinely, I got to the mech, which you don't get to until quite late in the game. I got to the mech, and I was just like, oh cool, here we go, we're going to explore some more. And you can't fly right away, and it's like, oh, okay. So you play a bit longer, and then you get the ability to fly in the game. And I was like, oh yes, and exploring in a flying scale is wonderful. A nice catchy song plays whenever you're flying about, and yeah, it's great. But I gotta be honest, right? This was a very big, like, personal peeve for me with this game, you know. Once I got to the scales in the story, you know, there was a lot of, well, not a lot actually, there was only about 2 or 3, from as far as I can tell, mandatory fights where you pretty much had to have a scale in order to fight. And you gotta buy scales for all your other party members, and those scales have to be bought like weapons as well. And it's all really expensive. I remember going to the shops in the game, buying 3 scales that I could afford at the time for my party members, as well as a bunch of weapons and stuff. And I bought this stuff and I went to go do a fight, and I died in seconds. And the scales, see, this is like my JRPG mentality kicking in here, okay? When I'm met with that situation, my instinct is like, oh well, I'll just go grind for a few hours, and I love doing that, you know. A lot of RPG fans must love doing that as well, for the genre to have survived so long. But you can't do that with the scales. The scales don't level up with your character, as far as I can tell, okay? You've got a scale that's shite, you just have to, like, go buy another one or go buy better equipment for it. And it's really expensive. So in the story, unless your scale is, like, of a quality scale, you're going to be spending a lot of time grinding for money. And there was a few fights where I was just like, oh fuck this, because I could not get past it. My scales would just always get destroyed. And what's even more hilarious is that scales have insurance, so that when they blow up, unless you time the button the right way or something, insurance will go down, and if it goes down low enough, you have to pay in order to get your scale back. The scales really did a lot to, like, kill the game for me, you know, like, there was so much, again, from an exploration standpoint, I loved them, but from a combat standpoint, they just killed it, you know, I didn't like it. And, you know, I didn't even finish. I didn't even beat the last boss, admittingly, in this game, because my skills just kept getting screwed, and I thought I bought good skills too, but I hadn't, and I just like really drained any enthusiasm I had to beat the game after that. So I really gotta say that I did not like the skills, right? That's probably one of the main things I want to rant about with this, you know. But everything else, yeah, was good. I guess we should talk a little bit about the music, actually. The music was, again, nowhere near as good as the first game, you know. They got like a new composer in for this, you know, the guy who did the music for Attack on Titan. I'm sure he's got a real name, but that's what I call him, and I'm sure that's what a lot of people call him. And yeah, it just really wasn't as good, you know. I guess that's a really like subjective thing, but you know, I can only recall like less than 5 songs in this game, honestly, and like play them in my head, whereas I can do that for like 20 songs in the first games. So it's a bit lame in that regard, you know. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that's it. Something will probably come to me as I go on, you know. Should we talk about the censorship? Let's not talk about the censorship. It was stupid, but it doesn't affect the game that much. I don't know. It's okay. I should end this now. We've opened that can of worms. That's going to be bad. That's what all the comments are going to be about for the people who actually stayed to the end of this video. I don't know. I liked this game. I really did, and I genuinely hope that Xenoblade becomes like a big series for Nintendo. You know, I want to see more. I want to see more of it. I want to see Monolith do great things with this franchise and with their, as they are part of the Nintendo family. So that's that, guys. I guess I'll just say this at the end as well. As you can tell, I'm moving, so don't know when my next video will be. I might even record one just after this for the hell of it. I don't know. We'll see. See you after, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.